30 years of working on cars, and I've never entered my own personal vehicle in a car show until today. So right here I got Project Blue Z here. It's a blue BMW Z3. We got to get this thing cleaned up because in 2 weeks I'm entering it in my first car show. Now I don't expect to win any prizes or anything. This is not that car. This is a stepping stone car, so we're gonna clean it up, make it as nice as we can, enter the show and have some fun. So as you can see, Project Blue Z here is pretty dirty. I don't want to rub on it too much and cause swirl marks or scratches on it, but she's pretty dirty. We went through a little hurricane, if you want to call that, here in San Diego, California a couple weeks ago, and it got dumped on. And then we got horses that live right next door to it, so this is all kind of dirt and dust. It's settled on the car. Haven't driven it in a couple weeks, so we're gonna get it cleaned up. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wash it, we're gonna clay bar it, and then we're gonna break out the Milwaukee M18 orbital polisher here and put this to use. And we're gonna do a little paint correction on it and make it as best we can for the show. So I picked up this car wash detail kit from Chemical Guys here. It's a great little toolkit. It has the wash bucket with the dirt separator in the bottom. It comes with all the most popular stuff like your tire cleaners, your car wash soaps, interior. It's like all in one. And as you can see, these are never been opened. Well, they've actually been used, and then I just ordered new. You can order as you wear it out or use it all out. You can order individuals and restock your kit. You don't have to keep buying the kit. So we're gonna get the car cleaned up. As you can see, it's pretty freaking dirty. And also I'm gonna go over a few of the repairs we made on the vehicle over the last couple of weeks. That's why it hasn't been driven. That's why it's all dirty and been sitting here. We did some repairs on it, and one of the things we did was fix the grill. The grill insert here was loose, and so I got the clips and stuff I need to fix the grill. Door panel was off. The door handle here has been replaced, and I'll show you some clips of that. So like I said, I took the door panel apart, took the window track out of the way, and then I also made room to get the door handle out. Pretty simple job. I also got to try out the new Milwaukee Insider ratchet, which you see right here. This is a brand new ratchet. It just came out on the market. Pretty cool. Recommend you checking out the video I made of that. I'll leave a link in the description. So I broke out the pressure washer and got it quickly washed off so we can get ready to clay bar and buff it out. After rinsing off as much of the dirt as we possibly could, now I switched over to the soap and water and gave it a good thorough bath. I just gave it a quick wash, but I'm not going to dry it just yet. If you feel the paint, it has a little bit of grittiness to the surface of it, so we're going to use some Mother's Clay Bar, and we're going to clay bar the surface of the whole vehicle here and get some of those imperfections out of the paint. And then after that, we'll throw on the buffer and we'll polish it out and make it nice and beautiful. As you can see, the water doesn't really run off. It just kind of stays on there. So we want that water to run off the car. So clay barring it and putting some wax on it will take care of that. So the Mother's clay bar kit that I got, it comes with some microfiber towels, 3 of the clay bars itself, and some instant detailer. So I'm gonna leave the car wet. I'll use this later. So I took a big chunk of the clay bar here, roughly about half of it, and I'm going to knead it. This is brand new, so I'm just going to knead it into a shape where it fits kind of in the palm of my hand, and I can use it to clay bar the car. We're not going to do it in circular motion. We're going to do long strokes like that to prevent swirls on it. And then we're going to use just the car wash soap here. I'm going to use this to keep it wet, like this. And then we're just going to lightly put a little bit of pressure. And we're going to use the car wash soap and the clay bar to get any of those gritty imperfections that has embedded into the paint. And as you can see, the color changed already, even though we just washed this. So I'm going to do this whole thing, and right there I hit a spot where it kind of stuck. So I need to just add a little bit of water and keep it gliding across the paint. So this is just soap and water, like this. We'll clay bar the whole car and get as much of that imperfection out. And then once the clay bar gets dirty, we'll just pull it over and knead it in like this, make a new section, and keep going. Do the whole car. Yeah, as you clay bar the paint, you'll be able to feel where you haven't done it versus where you've done it. You'll be able to feel that slick, smooth, and the whole slide is easy where you haven't done. Where you did it, it's like nice and it's like glass. So you'll feel that once you've got that consistent where it's like glass. As you can see, I just dropped my clay bar, so now I'm gonna wash this off real quick. Hopefully, I don't want any contaminants on this, so I'm gonna just wipe this off. You definitely don't want dirt on your like sandy grit, and then you'll just put scratches on your car. So you're just gonna do that until it's nice and smooth like glass. Give your car some love. A little rubbing is loving. Alright, now I've clay barred the whole car. As you see, I'm dripping in sweat. It's a little muggy out today. I'm also doing this under a shade here. You want to keep the paint cool. You don't want it to do this in the direct sunlight when you do any of the paint correction work. You want to keep it shaded. So if you can do it under a cardboard or a canopy like this or in a garage, it's best. You don't want your wax or anything like that like melting or coat burning onto the paint surface. So now that I got the whole car clay bar, I'm going to rinse it back all off, and I'm going to give it a good dry, and then we'll do a little polishing on it and look for any imperfections in the paint and polish those out. And paint-wise, this car will be ready for the car show. A tip I use for drying cars is to blow the vehicle off. I'm using a leaf blower if you have compressed air. Blow the vehicle off and then dry it with a microfiber towel. That will speed everything up and make it easier to dry. And the less you have to use a towel, the less likely you'll add swirl marks to your paint job. We got it all washed and clay barred. As you can see, it looks pretty good. There's not a lot of swirl marks in this paint job. This paint job on this little Z is pretty good. So now we're just going to take the buffing wheel and go over it real quick and put a little wax on it here and make it just a little bit more vibrant and a little protection on it, and we'll be good to go for the car show. So we're going to go ahead and polish her out now and get rid of any of the imperfections and little swirl marks that may be in this paint here. I'm using kind of a hybrid wax. It's a little bit, it's kind of what this wax does is it's kind of coarse when you first start, and as you work it into the paint, it breaks down and becomes finer. So it's kind of like a hybrid where it cuts a little bit and it polishes at the same time. So that's the type I'm using on this vehicle. One of the tips I have for you guys is, depending on how bad your surface is, would be choosing the right wax. So you may need a coarse pad and a coarse cutting compound to get any of those imperfections out. Then swap out to a more fine pad and a more fine wax, and then buff over it one more last time. I'm only doing it in one step here. This is kind of, like I said, a hybrid where it does a little bit of cutting and a little bit of polishing at the same time. And so I'm using a medium grade pad. So this paint is pretty good. It's not too bad. So I'm able to get away with that. So it saves me a lot of work. Another tip for you guys is when you're waxing a car or buffing a car, if you're hand waxing or buffing a car, is the surface here. If it's super hot to the touch, like where it's out in the sunlight and it's hot, this wax will like melt or bake onto the surface, and it'll actually cause more damage to your paint than it will, correcting and making it shine. So I recommend using canopies or carports or super cloudy day. Not do it in direct sunlight, and make sure that the surface of it is cool to the touch, and you'll have pretty good results. My only other tip is when you're working around like plastic pieces or molding, especially on older vehicles like this, is I like to stay about a 1/4 inch or so away from around the plastic piece or molding around it, and I'll work my way around it. The reason why I don't do the moldings like this right here is these moldings will get soft over time, and they'll bleed the black onto your paint or onto your pad, and then they'll leave scuff marks onto your surface of your vehicle. So for instance, this little piece right here, I probably won't use the buffer. I will do this by hand around the window. That way I don't get that black molding scuff onto the paint or onto my pad, and then I'll just work the whole car. Another tip I do is I use the wax pretty sparingly. I don't like throw it on here and then start spinning it like that, spray the wax all over everything. I like to get the wax on the pad and kind of rub it in like this, and then turn it on. Once you got a good area like that, good and buffed out, then I use a microfiber cloth, clean, brand new, clean, and just take off any excess wax like this, and look for any imperfections where I may have to go over it one more time. Also, when it comes to paint correction, using an orbital buffer is amazing, especially for beginners, somebody that hasn't been doing this for a long time. If you use the rotary style, it's easy to burn the edges. So that's another point I wanted to bring out, is on the edges here. You don't want to stay on those edges long at all. You want to just go right up to them, right up to the edges like this, but don't like hang out on the edges, because you can burn the edges. You can burn through it, and I'll show you a little bit on the other side. There's a burn spot on the door. I'll show you right here on the leading edge of the door here. You can see where the paint has been burned through from buffing right there, and you can see the primer just underneath it there. It happens even to the best of them, but if you just don't hang out on them, and you use a softer pad, you're less likely to burn that out. I also like the orbital type. The battery one, like I got here with the Milwaukee one, is because it's battery operated, it has a little bit of weight to it, and I just let the weight of the tool, you know, pretty much do the work. I'm not pushing down on this at all. All right, Blue Z is all polished out, and the exterior of the vehicle is pretty much ready for the car show. It's not until next week, so I'm gonna put it under the car cover. Then just before the show, I'll give it a quick little wash, detail the tires real quick, vacuum out the interior, wash out the inside windows, and that'll be it. I'll cruise it down to the car show with my daughter. Should be pretty cool, so make sure you're following along for that video. I'm Brian Esser from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching and encourage you to subscribe.